In the work that we are presenting, we propose a framework called reflective iteration to assist people in identifying and improving their physical exercise routine. This study examines the framework through a 6-week user study. In the US, there is a lack of physical activity across all age, gender, and race groups. To help individuals better maintain regular physical activity, prior literature suggests incorporating physical activity into their daily routine. This may sound practical, but still, a variety of individual knowledge is needed to achieve such a goal. Individuals need to know when, where, and how to carry out a physical activity, as well as their exercise history, body condition, and preferences. For people who have been physically inactive for a while, it's hard for them to assess such knowledge. Moreover, disruption and deviation from the established routines are very common, making it rather difficult for individuals to maintain a physical exercise routine for the long term. To address those challenges, we proposed a new framework inspired by the concept of self-experimentation. Prior study defined self-experimentation in the context of personal informatics as an iterative process for seeking individual knowledge by generating hypotheses, conducting experiments to test hypotheses, and reflecting on the results. While literature suggests individuals' interests in reflecting on their self-experimentation experience to inform future practice, we further leverage the iterative and reflective nature of self-experimentation and propose the reflective iteration framework. By practicing reflective iteration, individuals first specify their behavior change plans and then track the completion of those plans over a period of time. At the end of an iteration cycle, they reflect on the records of their behavior change plans. They then use the knowledge gained from the reflection to inform future behavior plans and start a new cycle of iteration. We implemented this framework with a mobile app called Planneregy. With this app, users first plan multiple physical activity plans and bundle them into a so-called strategy by assigning keywords to describe the common characteristics of their plans and then naming the strategy. We will provide an example of the planning process when discussing the findings. Then, for the following 7 days, users manually report how they completed their plans. Lastly, on day 7, users will reflect on the strategy by evaluating keywords and rating the strategy as a whole. The system then asks them if they want to continue with the same strategy, start with a new one, or switch to a previous strategy. From there, users will start a new cycle of iteration. We designed a user study where each participant used the app for 6 weeks and attended 3 interviews at the beginning, at the middle point, and at the end of the study. Every 7 days, they submitted a questionnaire to briefly talk about their experience. We recruited 16 participants, of whom 3 were male and 13 were female. By the end of the study, they had created 48 different strategies, which included a total of 434 physical activity plans. 203 keywords were used to describe those strategies. Through the qualitative analysis of the interview data, we first found that bundling physical activities into strategies seemed to scaffold participants' practice to create behavior change plans by helping them unpack the complexity of a physical exercise routine. Now let's see how P7 specified physical activity plans and strategies using this app. P7 first planned multiple physical exercises on different days of the week. Based on the common characteristics of those plans, P7 picked the keywords light exercise, outdoor, warm weather, mindfulness, and challenge to summarize them. Lastly, P7 named this strategy as Afternoon Walks Part 3. We noticed that many participants who were not physically active in the past treated the first few strategies as trials to inform later practice. Their plans usually cover multiple aspects, such as outdoor and morning, which could be summarized by keywords. The participant found the use of the keyword helpful, as it provided a way to unpack many aspects of their physical activity plans so they could have a better perception of the strategy as a whole. In this study, participants needed to keep updating their knowledge and change their routines accordingly. We found that the iteration feature could potentially support participants in choosing a feasible routine in different situations. Through iterations, participants gained an understanding of their physical activity routines, as mentioned by P6. Once participants found a strategy that worked for them, they tended to maintain it for several iterations if things remained unchanged. While maintaining a strategy, participants also tweaked them a little bit to make them better fit into their routines. Most importantly, we found that the iteration offered participants ways to coordinate with life changes. Changes in their lives were the most commonly mentioned reason for participants to switch to a different strategy. Our participants mentioned a variety of such life changes, including having exams, being sick, and traveling. In those scenarios, some participants changed back to a previous strategy because some routine knowledge tied to the previous context became applicable again, as mentioned by P16, who resumed gym workouts after regaining gym access. Participants' behavior changed simultaneously when iterating physical activity routines. We found that the high-level reflection further helped steer participants' iteration directions and guide their creation of future strategies. By iteratively reflecting on the strategy, participants were able to tackle the issue in their physical exercise plans. In this process, participants considered keywords as an intuitive way to evaluate different aspects of the strategy. This reflection process further helped participants make their thoughts concrete regarding what worked and what didn't. This reflection process served as a decision point for participants to determine their iteration direction, where they could directly apply the newly gained knowledge into the next iteration. Again, the keywords help indicate possible directions. When one aspect proved unhelpful, participants naturally started to test the rest of them. Reflecting on those findings, we suggest a few implications for future work. First, we identified a few ways to support individuals in creating behavior change plans. Future research may want to investigate flexible ways to scaffold this practice. Researchers may consider designing mechanisms such as utilizing keywords to help individuals summarize a bundle of behavior change plans at a high level. This study also indicates that individuals can iterate on their behavior change plans when facing changing life scenarios. Future designs may investigate different ways of iteration as well as ways to help users navigate their records to identify the plans that fit their current circumstances. Lastly, we argue that reflection could be further designed as a facilitator for iteration. Researchers may think about leveraging reflection as a decision point. Different methods can be used to facilitate reflection, such as high-level summary and better data annotation. Reflection can also be used to guide the direction of iteration. Researchers may consider using contextual information or keywords to help users better make sense of their records and inform future practice. To summarize, in this study, we were inspired by the self-experimentation framework and proposed reflective iteration. We implemented this framework in a mobile app called Planneregy. Through a 6-week user study and qualitative analysis, we identified a few ways that this framework can benefit individuals' iteration of their behavior change plans. The reflective iteration, as a planning framework, can help individuals identify and improve their preferred physical activity routines even when facing complicated life scenarios. We encourage future researchers to investigate this framework's potential in a variety of fields of personal informatics,